I'm Nikki from Written Labs. In this quick tutorial, we'll show how easily you can connect external Google services using the Agentica. Our goal is to build an AI agent that can interact with Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Flights all together. By the end, you'll have a chat-based agent that reads your emails, manages your calendar, and even finds flights for you, all through Agentica's built-in connectors. Before we get started, just like the last time, we need some API credentials to use Google services. To use Gmail and Google Calendar API, you'll need a client ID, client secret, and a refresh token. And for Google Flights, you need a SERP API key. In this tutorial, however, we won't cover how to generate these credentials step by step, but don't worry at all, because I prepared a simple guide documentation to help you through it. So just check the link in the description below and make sure to have all your credentials ready before moving on. With these ready, let's dive into setting up the project. First, let's create a new Agentica project using the CLI. npx Agentica start. This will launch Agentica's setup wizard. For the project name, I'll go with the Google agent. And for the package manager, I'll choose PNPM. For the template, I'll select Node.js and the React template again. And I'll keep the port number to 3000. This time, we're going to use multiple connectors. So scroll down the list until you see Gmail, Google Calendar, and Google Flight. Then press the spacebar to select each connector. And lastly, for the OpenAI API key, I'll skip it for now and set it later. So just give us a few seconds and wait for a while until the packages are all installed, and boom! A brand new Agentica project is created. Now that the project folder has been created, so let's open it up in our code editor. Just like in the last tutorial, we now have a client and the server subfolders. Let's start by running the client application, and then we'll clean up any unnecessary boilerplates. Go into the client directory and run pnpm start. And this will start the application on localhost 5173. So open it in your browser and you got a chat screen. And now let's go to the server directory and delete all the boilerplates and start fresh with a clean setup. Again, we need to set up our environment variables, so go to the env file and paste in your OpenAI API key. Since we are using the multiple Google connectors this time, we also need to add a few more credentials. So go and add Google Client ID, Google Client Secret, Google Refresh Token, and SERP API key. Next, open the sglobal.ts file and update the environment's interface to include Google Client ID and Google Client Secret and the Google Refresh Token and the SERP API key so that the TypeScript can recognize them and provide a proper type checking. Before we move on, let's quickly walk through the server logic. Open up the src/index.ts file and you will probably notice there are more boilerplates than usual. This time it's importing the Gmail service, Google Calendar service, and Google Flight service from their respective modules. And if you look at the controllers section inside the Agentica instance, you'll see that the agent is already set up to use the Google services as tools. But as you can see, we are getting some errors. So let's check the constructor interfaces for these services. And you'll notice that they all expect some props when you create a new instances. For Gmail and Google Calendar, they both require a Google Client ID, Client Secret, and a refresh token. And for the Google Flight, it needs a SERP API key passed in as a config object. So now that we understand why we're getting these errors, so let's go back to the index.ts file and fix them. We've already prepared these credentials as environment variables, so let's create a Google config object and set Google Client ID and Google Client Secret and the Google Refresh token as its properties. And let's create another config, a variable. Let's say its name as a surf config and add a surf API key as its property. Now, all we need to do is pass them in respectively as config objects. And I think we're done. That was low-key too easy, right? So with everything set up, let's run the agent server and test it out. So to do so, you have to build this server with the pm build script. And after that, let's start the server. So pm start. The Agentica server will launch and establishing the WebSocket connection with the React client. Okay, so our Google agent is on. So I'm gonna ask, what emails did I get today? So I'm basically expecting the agent via Gmail service will fetch my recent emails and summarize them. Okay, so, but unfortunately, I think I don't have any incoming emails, so yeah, so I think it didn't find any emails to show. Then maybe I should try the Google Flights. So maybe I can ask, find me a one-way flight ticket from Seoul to Hong Kong on May 26, 2025. I'm expecting this would invoke Google Flight Service and it's kind of asking some more details. So how many adults will be traveling? 1 adult. And how many children? 0 children. And do you prefer a direct flight or are you okay with the layovers? Only search direct flight, please. So I basically gave some more detail, the options that I want for the flight. So let's see how it responds. And according to my experience, this might take some time to get the response. So let's calmly wait. Okay, so I think the Google Flight Service working well. So let me try another one. Create a calendar event for tomorrow at 7 p.m. So I'm basically expecting this will trigger creating the Google calendar event. And I got the answer back and it's asking about more details. So the title of the event, it's Italian wine tasting. Would you like the description or the location? No description or location. And should the event be marked as busy? Mark as busy. So let's wait for the calendar event to be created. And this will also take some time. Oh, and we got the answer. Let's see. So the function call you executed was to create an event in Google Calendar titled Italian wine tasting. All right. And I think it created the event well. So the Google Agents is working perfectly. In just a few minutes, we set up an AI agent capable of managing emails, calendars, and flight searches. This demonstrates the power of Agentica's framework. With minimal code, you integrated multiple external services into one AI assistant. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe our channel. And if Agentica sparked your interest, drop us a star on GitHub too. Then happy coding!